Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wealth Down with me, your host, Norbert PM. It is the weekend edition where we're going to go over the portfolio, what we bought, what we sold, and why we did it. We also go to take a look at the previous week of the markets, what happened. We had a couple of major earnings reports, and we're going to talk briefly about them. I actually talked about most of the reports in the previous videos over the week. Please check them out. With this being said, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell to get notified. Please remember, I am not a financial advisor. Everything that I say here is my personal opinion. Do not buy or sell stocks based on what I'm talking about here. I'm just giving my personal opinion, and I'm talking about my personal portfolio and, of course, my thought process. That's why I'm doing is to expose my thought process in the world so you can give your feedback. So don't be shy. Leave your comments in the comment section below. So let's get started with our portfolio. It currently yields a 2.66%. We have here a couple of new positions, actually also a couple of trades. So we bought and sold them, a couple of closed positions. Our cash position is currently 9.49% of the portfolio. Of course, we sold a couple of things. Not necessarily that I don't think that they're not going to, that they don't have any growth potential from here on, but I saw maybe a good opportunity in the market to just take some profits, let the market relax a bit. Remember, next week is holiday because of Thanksgiving. And after that, let's see, maybe there's a bit of a rally. And after that, so also we're going to do, as always, our risk evaluation at the end of the video. We're going to evaluate the market for the next week. We also do risk evaluation for each of our stocks. So when we buy something, when we sell something, I'm not necessarily telling when I'm buying something. I'm just making the evaluation. And if you're following me on the Substack and you have your alerts, then I'm just going to post my buys and sells. Once again, no financial advice. Do not buy or sell stock on my personal opinion. It's just information. So let's go over our portfolio. First of all, we made a trade right before Nvidia announced their earnings. We made a short buy and then we sold it. I truly think that Nvidia is now extremely overpriced. Maybe there's a good pullback in Nvidia, and maybe I'm going to buy back in there. But I'm currently betting more on AMD. AMD is currently at 5.22% of the portfolio, and well, I'm still in the red here, but I do think that AMD would be the best competition for Nvidia, and when that moment comes, then AMD is going to shine, or maybe not. Who knows? I also own Intel. Intel is also one of those positions that I hope that somebody's going to buy Intel, and I'm going to have then a really good payday. Intel is currently at, let's see, 3.45% of my portfolio. Okay, so as we talked about it, Nvidia, I sold it, took some profits. That's it for Nvidia for me for now. We also initiate a small position in Palo Alto Network. Right after they announced their earnings, they had a bit of a pullback. So let's go here on the week. We had this pullback. We bought in. We then went negative, and actually it finished on a pretty positive note, and we sold our position in Palo Alto Network. If they would have another pullback, I would gladly buy into it, but currently Palo Alto Network is on RSI, is on overbought, and they just barely touched that overbought position. I could have waited for Palo Alto Networks to go further. I did not wait. I took my profits. That's it for now for Palo Alto Network. Also on the MACD, they're still on the buy signal. So if this turns around, then be careful. Wait for it. Then be careful with Palo Alto Network. Again, this is not financial advice. Be very careful with what I'm saying here. It's just my opinion. Then IBM, I sold my position in IBM. It had a really good run. We bought in somewhere here and it went down and then it went up again, and I sold my position. I could have waited. Most times I could have waited, but I'm curious to see what happens next week. If there's a good opportunity, I maybe buy in it once more, but I also do see maybe other opportunities on the horizon. Going to see how the week progresses. Also, I sold Brookfield Corporation. I'm still bullish on Brookfield, but as you watch my previous video, I entered it on a trade position. I missed the opportunity to sell it, got stuck with it, then I added a bit more and sold it now on a slight gain, really slight gain. Now I'm still waiting for Brookfield to have a pullback, and I want to add to this position. I love this company. It has huge growth prospect. You watch my analysis on Brookfield, you know what I'm talking about. If not, please take a look at that video and make up your own mind then. What do you think about Brookfield? And let me hear it in the comment section below. But currently, I sold my complete position in Brookfield. Took just a tinge of a profit, but at least not a loss, because I was, so from here to here, there was, as you can see, a, I believe 4% minus. So it would have gone even worse for that, because Brookfield can have massive pullbacks. For example, this is a over 10% pullback here. So Brookfield is gone. Then I made a trade. I opened a new position on Target. Target is currently so overbought. I already made a video on the evaluation of Target, a risk assessment evaluation. If you want, check that one out. Also, I should leave a link in the video description for everything that I'm talking about here. So you're going to find it down in the video description. You can check out each and every video, or just go to my homepage and find each video there. Also, subscribe to the Substack Substack. That's the best way to stay up to date with the thought process. If you don't watch the video, you just want to read the blog post, that's where I'm posting everything. Also, the entire diagrams and everything you're going to find on my Substack. So I bought Target here and I'm still holding it. And if Target has another pullback, I would be inclined to buy more Target. Now, why did they have the big pullback? Well, they reported worse than expected earnings and Walmart reported better than expected earnings, and Walmart jumped and Target a retraction. But as if you watch their earnings call, Target actually reported that they're overstocked because they were overstocked when the port fiasco happened. They thought that that is going to last far longer, so they bought a lot of stocks, so they won't be out of stock if people want to buy. And now they're stuck with the massive pile of stocks that they can't sell. And well, now this just illustrates that there's nothing wrong with the company itself. They just missed earnings because they made a bad decision. So I see Target as a buying opportunity, but let me hear your thoughts. What do you think? Let me hear it in the comment section below. Now, Alphabet is a really interesting one. I bought Alphabet and then I sold it, taking a small profit. And then the news came out with the US Department of Justice. They want to take out Chrome from Alphabet. Remember, Alphabet is actually it's composed out of Android, YouTube, the search engine, Chrome, the browser itself, and they want to break them out and take out Chrome. If that happens, actually, if they would take out YouTube from them, it would make YouTube such a valuable company. And they also have their cloud services. So they could break up Alphabet into multiple small companies, which are actually immense companies. So I bought back into Alphabet. We opened let me just check here, a 1.37% position in the portfolio. Also, Target is just 0.72% coming back to Target. So really small positions. And I'm waiting and I want to see what will happen. If this goes even further, I may be inclined to buy more Alphabet. Remember, they also yield a dividend of 0.49% and also coming back to Target for their dividend, they yield a 3.58% dividend. So Target is up there with a really good dividend and Google is constantly growing their dividends. So this could transform in 10 or 20 years in one of the dividend kings if they're still around. Okay, so let's move on. We also made a couple of trades on Duke. I reduced Duke in the portfolio to 1.46% of the portfolio. We added the big back to HIMS. Now somebody left a comment on HIMS and I really appreciate that comment that they actually, I said that HIMS and Hers is a trade for me. So at some point, I'm not investing in them long term. I will sell HIMS, but I think that there is still more possibility here to add to this position. What do you guys think? Especially you who left the last comment on a good enough pullback. Would this be an opportunity to add more to the portfolio? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's pretty much it. We dollar cost averaged as always in our SPY, in our ETF, which only represents the S&P 500. I'm not mixing up here anything with European stocks or Chinese stocks. And talking about Chinese stocks, I'm really keeping my eye on Alibaba. I think they're going to bottom. The bottom is not now. I don't know where the bottom is, but they are going to bottom and it will be obvious. And if the Chinese government stimulates in the next year, that could be interesting. That could be an interesting trade. Now, let's really quickly talk about gold. I also made a trade position in gold. Sadly, I should have waited more for gold, but I think, well, this is going to continue, obviously. And I sold it somewhere here. I made a 5-ish% profit. I should have waited, but who knew? I got cold feet, got out of the position, but I'm still waiting for gold to have a retracement here. We actually take a look at this in a average chart today. Gold went again above its 50-day moving average. I was actually expecting that to be resistant and to fall back on its 100-day moving average. Did not happen, and this could be another bullish sign for gold. Now, that's just an ETF that I bought, so I bought it and sold it, made a little profit there. I saw an opportunity for a trade. It was down here. Actually, I bought it here. It's not much what I made, but I'm okay. I can be happy. Remember my post? I actually need to make a video on that. I made a little post that was really successful with a sundae, and it has the cherry on top. And I just said, forget the cherry, take the sundae. Always take the sundae, forget about the cherry. You don't need the cherry. If you get the sundae, be happy. And I'm happy with the sundae. So let's go back here. Also, Bitcoin is so messy overbought. Take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin to the US dollar. It's almost at $100,000. Reach it. I think it barely touched it at a moment and then it came back. So be careful with Bitcoin. This looks to me like it's going to have a massive retracement. The last time Bitcoin had in January, after the ETF was announced, it had this massive jump. So from 41,000 to 70,000. And it just played around here, having some retracements. This was, I believe, that the August fiasco. Yep. And then boom, after the Trump election, it just exploded. But let's be honest, gravity still plays a role in our lives. So what goes up probably comes down, and the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So be careful with Bitcoin. Full disclosure, I do own Bitcoin, but I'm not showing showing it in this portfolio. This is fairly stocks, and Bitcoin is put to the side on a ledger in a safe place. So I'm not going to touch my Bitcoin trade. Also, there's going to be a long position. Okay, that's it for a portfolio. Now let's do a risk assessment for the next week. Remember, last week I said that there is a possibility, a low possibility of something bad happening, and I think I'm going more into I'm right with my predictions. But remember, they're only predictions. Anytime something can happen, and then gone. It's a black swan event, and everything is gone. So let's do a risk assessment. Let's take a look at next week. What do we have here? Let's go over some economic events. For the US, we have next week we have the FOMC minutes. I don't think it's going to influence the market too hard. But then, so on Monday we have nothing. Only from Germany we have our business climate. Then on Tuesday we have the FOMC minutes. On Wednesday we're going to have in the US the core inflation rate, or core PCE price index, durable goods, and personal income, personal spending. So this is going to be a hard week next week. You could see a little bit of retracement in the markets, especially if something does not come in as expected. So be very careful. Most of the movements in the market are made if expectations are met, not met, severely not met, or severely exceeded. Anything else, if you're a long-time holder of something, that's mostly based on fundamentals of a company. But anything else, those movements in the markets are expectations. So on economic events, I would say that next week has a medium risk, if not even high risk in the market. Something could happen simply due to the fact that there are expectations for next week in the market. I would say that there is a high risk next week in the market. Now, we also have geopolitical risk. So geopolitical risk. Now, due to the recent escalations between Russia and Ukraine, we don't see any massive changes between Israel and Hamas and Iran. I would say that this is a medium to high risk. So I think that the markets are pricing in the risk. So I would leave it at high. Now, stock buybacks are open. So I would consider this a lower risk. But the holiday week. So just typing in holiday with, I believe, only 3.5 days are the markets open. Now, the European markets and the Chinese and the Japanese markets will be open, but most of the buying happens actually when the New York Stock Exchange opens. So I would say that this is a medium risk in the market due to the fact that selling and buying will not influence that much, at least half of the week. Let's also take a look at next week's earnings. We don't have any major companies reporting earnings, although we're going to talk about this: CrowdStrike, Dell, HP, Autodesk, which are going to report on Tuesday after the bell. Also Best Buy before the bell. This is kind of, again, the sentiment of the American consumer will be exposed here. So there are no major market moving companies that are going to report earnings. So I'm going to consider this as low risk. Major companies, none. So I'm going to say that this is a low risk. Not a very low risk, but it's a low risk. So I would stop here. I would say that next week, the risk in the markets is 50-50. So maybe even have some cash on the side. We could expect after the week after this week, a small rally again in the markets if there is going to be a good enough pullback next week. So who knows? Just stay cool. Watch the markets. Keep your cool. We're still expecting a Santa Claus rally. So we're still expecting, even Goldman Sachs, everyone is expecting that the year should end on a positive note and even higher on the S&P that we are right now. Okay, guys, thanks you so much for watching. Remember, everything that I say here is not financial advice. This is just my personal opinion and how I manage my money. Please consider consulting a financial advisor, and do not buy or sell stocks on what I sell. So actually, do not buy or sell anything on my opinion here. I'm mainly a YouTuber. So with this being said, my name is Norbert BN. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click that notification bell in order to get notified whenever we post new videos. We post from Mondays to Fridays, and then on the weekends we do our portfolio review as we did right here. So this being said, stay safe out there. Catch you next time. Bye bye.